Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So let's talk about the meaning of life. Everybody asks what that question is. What's the meaning of life? I'm going to tell you, this is how it was told to me. I always like this description. I'll do the best I can. I didn't make this up. This was passed down to me. The meaning of life is simple. It's to remember who you are. Now, the word remember can be to, like as you think of it, to remember something from the past, as if we've forgotten. But you can also spell it R-E-member, to remember, like as if you're rebuilding an engine. You're rebuilding yourself. So that's basically what the meaning of life is to remember who you are. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the story behind it, and I don't want to sound preachy, but it's a story about God and the origin of God. So if you're scared about this type of talk, I'm not going to preach to you, but if you're scared about anybody talking about God, maybe you catch the next video. But it goes like this. Here's the story of God, and it's relating to what the meaning of life is. Back a long time ago, in the beginning of time, God was all there was. He was alone. It was just God. And he could do anything he wanted, because it's God, but he got bored. There's not really much to do. So he created the earth. It's kind of a playground. As something to watch, something to do. And he had a good time creating the trees, creating the grass, creating the little rabbits, creating every little creature you can think of, and it became a fun game. But after a while, he got bored of that too. It's like just watching the same TV show over and over. It just lost its thrill. It wasn't enough. It wasn't fulfilling. So one day God had an idea, brilliant idea. And he decided, because he's God, he can do whatever he wants, he decided to separate himself into millions and millions and billions of tiny little versions of himself. You know, it's always said in the Bible that man is created in God's image. So God created all of humanity out of himself, broke himself down into tiny little bits, like taking a big block of cheese and shredding it into a pile of shredded cheese. Each one is individual, but it's still just that block of cheese. God turned himself into a billion different little, millions and millions of different versions of himself. But then he had to take it one step further, because he knew that he would just get bored of that game also. So he had to take it one step further, and what he did was he made each version of himself forget who they really were. So there's billions of people, millions of versions of God. All of the humanity, the total population, is all just little tiny bits of the whole, playing a game with himself. He had to wipe the memory of all the people, so each human could then search for who they really are, remember who they really are. It's inside them, because it's not like that they're trying to obtain a brass ring or to be able to get some sort of gift. They're already a part of God. God separated himself into all of the people. So each version of themselves has to remember who they are, to remember themselves, to rebuild themselves as God, as part of the whole. It's also important to understand that every single person out there is also just a bit of God, a little portion of God, playing the same game. We're all playing the same game. Every person that you look into their eyes, whether it's a businessman or a bum, doesn't matter who it is, they're all just little versions of God on their particular path of remembering who they are. Some do it in one lifetime, some do it in 9,000. Just depends on how they play the game. like at a poker table. But that's the story of God. And it really relates to what we're doing, because we're all portions of God who are remembering who we are, remembering ourselves. Like as if you took a motorcycle apart and you have to rebuild it. So this is the meaning of life. It's pretty simple. Thanks for watching.